Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, our mission is to really unpack a truly terrifying story from the heart of rural Egypt. We're talking about how a family home became this hidden stage for horror.
Yeah, we're trying to cut through the confusion of this awful true crime spree to understand the psychology, the power dynamics in a traditional matriarchy.
And ultimately the motive.
Yeah.
What pushed a family feud into serial murder?
And we're looking at a specific village in Sohag. It's important to remember, this is a place where everyone knows everyone, a very tight-knit community.
Not some big city where people disappear.
Exactly. It's a closed system, so when things go wrong, the answer usually isn't far away. But these crimes, they were baffling. So calculated, yet so local. For months, people thought it was some outside threat.
When the terror was right there, next door. Okay, let's drop you right into the climax. Picture this. It's 2017. This village has been living under this cloud of fear for 6 months.
3 children vanished. No trace, no evidence at all.
Then the panic just explodes. A 4th child, 4-year-old Mohammed, disappears. And the terrifying part, he didn't vanish from the street.
No, he vanished from inside his own home, while his whole extended family was right there.
The urgency was absent.
Oh, completely. The police response was massive, immediate. They knew this crime wave, totally unheard of for this area and its frequency, its brutality. It had to stop now.
So officers are going house to house.
Systematically searching. They knew this last victim, taken from inside. The perpetrator had to be known, trusted, close by.
And as these search teams are moving, climbing onto the flat roofs common there, one officer spots something.
Not a scream, not a broken lock.
No, it was an odor. Thick, heavy, foul, and smoke.
No.
Dark smoke just pouring from one chimney.
At completely the wrong time of day for, baking bread or normal cooking, it stood out.
You have this scene of widespread panic, sirens maybe in the distance.
And then on this one rooftop, this weirdly domestic scene, the officer goes closer.
But there she is, Afnad.
Yeah.
The family matriarch.
Yeah.
A woman known for her authority.
Right. And she's tending a traditional oven, a big earthen furnace, baking bread, supposedly. But she's visibly uneasy. Her movements are too deliberate, like she's putting on a show of normalcy.
And the second figure appears. Hanan, the daughter-in-law, coming up the stairs to the roof.
Equally tense. And she immediately starts offering explanations for why she's there, contradictory ones.
And the officer notices something else. The silence between them. This rigid, shared silence.
Right.
Totally unnatural for these two women, known for their antagonism.
Yeah, that lack of normal interaction was a huge red flag. And then the officer connects the dots. He recognizes Afnan.
She's the grandmother of Ada, the very first child who went missing months ago.
Exactly. Suddenly it clicks. The smoke, that smell, the sheer terror on both women's faces, and knowing the latest victim vanished from this house.
He didn't wait.
No hesitation. Ordered the fire in the fern put out immediately, demanded they search inside it.
And inside that cooled oven, the discovery was just sickening.
The burnt remains of little Mohammed, 4 years old.
He hadn't been missing long at all. He'd been murdered and incinerated, probably just hours before, right there on the roof, hidden by the simple act of baking bread.
That immediate, visceral crime scene suddenly cast the older disappearances in a new light. It gave them the link they needed.
Investigators locked the place down, searched everything.
And in an adjacent area, part of the home used for cattle, like a pen or small farm area, that's where they found more.
Human bone fragments.
Yes.
Carefully buried, and remnants of clothing.
A child's dress.
Yeah.
Very distinctive. It confirmed the identity of the young girl who'd vanished months before.
This was the proof. It wasn't outsiders. It wasn't a kidnapping ring. The horror was centered entirely inside this one family, this one home.
Hanan and Afnad were arrested right there, on the spot.
Which brings us to the terrifying question. What on earth was the dynamic between this mother-in-law and daughter-in-law? How could it lead to such calculated, sustained brutality against 4 children? It defies belief.
To really understand the why, you have to go back. Rewind about 5 years to 2012. You need to understand Afnan's power base.
The matriarch.
Absolutely. The absolute ruler of this large extended family home in Sohag. Her authority wasn't just, mom rules. It was the whole social structure. Her word was literally law in that house.
And that law was underpinned by a really powerful cultural belief. We have to understand the intense pressure, especially in these rural areas, for sons, male offspring.
It's crucial. A son isn't just a child. He carries the family name, inherits land, guarantees the family's future. It's standing.
And for Afnan, this was everything. Her measure of a woman's worth was simple:
Mhm.
Can she produce boys?
And Hanan walked right into this pressure cooker. She was brought in to marry Afnan's youngest son, who wasn't around much.
The expectation was clear.
Crystal clear. Provide a son. Solidify the line. But Hanan, she gave birth to 3 daughters, one after the other.
And with each daughter.
Afnan's hostility just ramped up. It went from disappointment to open cruelty, abuse.
This wasn't just, difficult in-laws. This sounds like targeted psychological warfare.
It was. Afnan constantly reminded Hanan of her failure. It built and built until Afnan delivered this devastating ultimatum.
The final threat.
She told Hanan, flat out, the next time my son comes home on leave, I'm arranging a second marriage for him. And you, Hanan, and your 3 daughters, you're out. Kicked out of the family home permanently.
Which in that community means?
Complete ruin, total social isolation, poverty, shame. There's nowhere to go. Hanan felt trapped, terrified.
And consumed by resentment, by spite against Afnan's tyranny.
That desperation, that need to strike back somehow to save herself and her daughters, that's what led to the first crime, the solitary act.
She decided to hit Afnan where it hurt most. Her pride, her lineage.
Exactly. The first victim wasn't random. It was Adam, Afnan's grandson, but through a different son.
Ah, so Hanan's thinking was, if I'm punished for not giving my husband a son, I'll make sure my powerful brother-in-law loses his heir too.
A precise, spiteful revenge. She murdered Adam, the first child reported missing. She probably thought that act would somehow protect her, level the playing field.
But that's not what happened.
Not at all. This is where the story takes that incredibly dark turn. From a single act of revenge into serial horror.
Afnan caught her.
Afnan caught Hanan in the act,
Oh.
witnessed the murder, but instead of shock or grief or calling the police, Afnan saw an opportunity. Leverage.
A noble.
She unleashed her jabrut. It's a word that means more than just cruelty. It's like absolute tyranny, the power to utterly break someone's will. She used witnessing the murder to gain total psychological control over Hanan.
So she didn't want justice for her grandson. She wanted power over Hanan. She weaponized the crime itself.
Precisely, blackmail, pure and simple, but with a monstrous twist.
She turned Hanan into her instrument.
Her demand was horrific. Hanan must continue the violence. She was forced to kidnap more children. Afnan called them gifts.
Yeah.
Gifts that Hanan then had to kill, often in front of Afnan, the alternative. Afnan turns her in for Adam's murder. Hanan faced death and disgrace either way, but this way, she was under Afnan's thumb.
Utterly broken. The guilt, the fear.
She complied. The second victim was brought, a relative of Hanan's. But it's the third victim that shows Afnan's cold, strategic mind.
Afnan specifically demanded a young girl this time.
Why? It wasn't random cruelty, it was strategy. This third murder, the girl, allowed Afnan to deliberately create a public narrative, a diversion.
What kind of narrative?
The rumor mill started churning. Maybe it was a kidnapping gang, organ traffickers, or maybe sacrifices for finding ancient artifacts, common local superstitions.
So the focus shifted entirely away from the family.
Completely. It diverted all suspicion, official and community suspicion, away from the one place nobody would ever suspect, the matriarch's own home, protected by her status, by tradition.
Horrifyingly clever. Calculated. She wasn't just sadistic. She was playing a long game, maintaining this facade while this horror continued inside.
For months, and it didn't stop there. 3 months after that diversion, Afnan demanded another victim, the fourth.
Why? The revenge motive, Adam's death, was long past. The diversion was working.
Afnan stated quite chillingly that the first 3 hadn't brought her full revenge or complete satisfaction. The killing itself had become the point. A ritual of dominance.
And Hanan's complicity by this point
Was absolute. She was completely subservient, and the choice of the fourth victim shows just how far gone she was.
Who did she choose?
Her own nephew, little Muhammad, 4 years old.
Her own nephew. Had she just lost all connection to morality?
It seemed she was psychologically dominated, viewing the children almost as objects to fulfill Afnan's demands. She used her position as Muhammad's aunt, someone he trusted implicitly.
Lured him away from the family, inside the house.
Up to the roof, the most private, secluded spot.
And the final steps. Afnan made it a ritual.
A dark ritual to cement her power. Hanan took Muhammad, drowned him in water that was already prepared up there, and then presented the body to Afnan.
And Afnan put him in the furn.
Placed the body in the oven, set it alight, and forced Hanan to watch, burning the evidence, forcing her captive audience to witness. It was the ultimate act of jabrut, the final assertion of absolute control.
And that's the moment the police arrived. Drawn by the smoke, the smell.
Exactly. That horrifying scene was interrupted right at its peak. When the arrests happened and the interrogations began, the truth about the power dynamic just tumbled out.
Hanan confessed immediately.
Pretty quickly, yes. Admitted to all 4 murders. She detailed the whole timeline, the initial murder, Afnan catching her, the blackmail, the coercion. She laid out the power imbalance.
And Afnan. Given her personality.
Reports suggest she remained strong, defiant, maintained that tyrannical composure. She didn't acknowledge coercing Hanan, reinforcing her image as the mastermind, the one who turned Hanan's single act of revenge into this sustained campaign of terror.
What was the final legal outcome?
Both were sentenced to death initially. There are reports suggesting Afnan's sentence was later commuted to life imprisonment, but Hanan's execution was carried out. The courts clearly found her responsible for the acts themselves, despite the element of duress.
So when you pull back and look at the whole picture, this isn't just a crime story. It's a terrifying case study.
Absolutely. It shows the destructive force of cultural obsession, the need for male heirs, when it's weaponized by someone with unchecked authority, like Afnan.
She took Hanan's initial vulnerability, her fear of ruin, and twisted it. Turned her into the instrument of her own deep-seated malice.
It's a chilling example of psychological subjugation. Remember, Hanan arguably got her revenge with the first victim, but the violence kept going, driven by Afnan's need for satisfaction, for sustained ritual cruelty.
The knowledge we gain here is stark. It's about what happens when absolute power operates within a closed system, fueled by twisted cultural pressures. This wasn't about money or sudden passion.
No, it was prolonged emotional and cultural warfare, played out with unimaginable cruelty.
And that really leaves us with a disturbing thought, doesn't it?
It does. What does it actually take for those deep social pressures, combined with pure personal malice, to completely shut down someone's empathy?
To the point where they inflict trauma again and again, even on children, their own family.
This case provides one devastating, horrifying answer to that question.
A deeply unsettling look at human darkness and the weight of social expectation. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.